So it is. Hello and welcome YouTube to Cthulhu Confidential with our GM.
Magician.
And so this is a new week of recording for us. And so because it's in fact been 2 weeks, I'm going to say, Magician, what happened last time? Because I don't remember.
You beat me to it. I was about to ask you the same thing. Last time, Dex, our gumshoe detective, went to the Allegria to talk to the guy running it, Whitey Alexander.
Yep.
Because all threats were leading there. And was generally told that Whitey Alexander had nothing to do with things.
With pretty decent evidence for that fact.
Yes. But at the same time, Dex has learned, and this has been corroborated by other sources, that essentially White Alexander is under attack. And it kind of looks like... Well, what does it look like? Why am I talking about this?
Because I was hoping that you'd let something slip, really.
All
right.
Review your notes. Tell me where we are at.
So, let's look at the big board. All right, here we are. So, I looked at that. The Roscoe Devlin route.
Deacon. The other Devlin.
Deacon. Shut up. Has not borne fruit. Stop. Whatever. Right click. Color tint brown. Okay, so that's done. We have Helen and Bugsy. So this is the whole Bugsy McAfee thing. My current hypothesis is that Bugsy has chthonic backing. Or I'm not going to say backing, but assistance through the whole Yig thing that Helen seems to be infected by. No, not Helen. Helen was the priestess who tried to kill herself and wants nothing more of me.
No. Helen
is the person who was infected. I was right the first time.
Yes.
Who seems to be infected by Yig. The Argent Light Church,
run by Clara,
wants nothing to do with me. So color this brown. Now, Ancient Growing Evil. Is there suddenly more physics? Because it wasn't behaving this physicsy last time.
I have no idea.
What did you do?
Yes, I updated the software.
Yeah, don't do that. Seriously. Okay, so... dear.
Ryan, you're playing with the interface again.
I am. Okay, so we have this Ancient Gnawing Evil, the Worshippers of Yig, which actually does seem to be something of a lead. Okay, we have... Now, in terms of people that we're dealing with this episode, we have Bud Barron. So why is the interface laggy? Oh, probably because I'm running this on... I'm hosting this off of my 5-year-old laptop.
That could possibly explain it, yes.
Good choices. All right. So we have Bud Barron, who's putting the squeeze on Alexander, who seems to be working in a publishing warehouse, which is A.M. Hillier, which is where I went today. Now, the major thing that led me to him was the small issue of a bomb at Alexander's place. And then I tailed him. They went into the Hillier warehouse. I went and got my, quote, friend, Marshall, who hopefully can drive me out of there and drag my bleeding carcass out of there when the inevitable happens.
Right, so...
And the cops want nothing to do with this.
Absolutely not. Last session, if I recall correctly, you said that you wanted to break in under the cover of night. And so you went and got Marshall's help. So
Yep.
He's sitting there in the car next to you,
Yep.
waiting for lights to go off.
Yes.
The warehouse itself does have a note at the front door saying that it is not open to public, but it operates until 10 p.m. So this is presumably about 11.
It's about 1.
Okay, sure. In which case, Marshall does have a few questions as to what he's doing there and what you have found out.
Okay, so Marshall, I'm not quite sure how to put this. Let's start with, these are the folks who put the bomb at Alexander's casino.
He's taking furious notes.
Right.
Scribble, scribble,
Yes,
scribble.
yes.
Go on. Who's Alexander?
Alexander.
What does he have to do with Helen?
Right. Alexander. I didn't actually think this.
Yes. How do we are her boyfriend?
Yes. It looks like Alexander was one of Helen's friends.
He looks up at you, just eyebrow raised a bit, but doesn't comment.
Specifically, one of his employees was also captured by the person who was taking snapshots of you, which is what led me to him.
Okay.
This is not actually true. Yes. Sorry, yeah, but this is what I'm telling him.
Almost.
It is almost true. I'm very, very carefully not mentioning the superstitious nonsense.
Sure.
Because honestly, Dex is just like me, a little freaked out by all of that. So it looks like somehow Helen has been mixed up in the budding gang war between Bugsy and McAfee, where Alexander is a proxy for McAfee, and Bud Barron, who's here, is a proxy for Bugsy.
Marshall is starting to draw a little diagram.
Oh, no. Dex has a diagram that he's referring to going, okay.
In which case, Marshall will just peek over his shoulder.
It looks a lot like this. Because Dex is flipping through note cards, doing...
Yep.
Yeah. And it's like, this is basically the last lead that I've got without opening up a whole new avenue of investigation. That Helen seems to be mixed up in this somehow, and that these folks have done something to her.
Okay, so what do you need me to do?
When I inevitably get caught and get beat up, get my body out of there and drive me to a doctor's office.
Okay, I can do that.
Like, I'm not asking you to help break in, but it's really convenient if I don't have to drive my own broken, bruised body to a doc's.
Gotcha.
I will give him the name of a doctor that I use for this sort of let's not mention this situation. So
okay, he is
and you know,
shaking with adrenaline.
Yes. Oh yeah, and if you see like bunches of mobsters coming, try to honk the horn to get me out of there.
He looks around. It's 1 o'clock. It's dead.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. If it stays like this, that's great. If there's something that we need to flee for, it'd be nice if they didn't get here.
Okay, sure. Gotcha.
So you're my lookout.
Gotcha.
Also, you're an accessory to a crime. For Helen. Just saying. So, OGM, can you think of anything that I have missed in my most confused summary?
No, this does actually sound about right. I mean, there are a few beats that will become more, you'll realize are more important as more is revealed.
Yes, of course. But in terms of the logic that has gotten me here...
Perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine.
Okay, so the warehouse itself is fairly sizable. You've been observing it for a while, so you definitely know there is a night watchman, because the flashlight occasionally
illuminates. So we
the
start a new note card. Actually, yeah, we start in... Wow, the lag.
Well, the lag indeed. What the hell?
Okay, so next episode we're going to have to switch which of these computers is hosting.
Yeah.
So, warehouse
7.
break-in. Okay. Night watchman. Just putting it down there.
Okay. So again, from observing it for a bit,
Yep.
You're fairly certain that it's not that hard to evade him. Mechanics-wise, once you actually get in, it will be a quick test, which is to say it's not a proper challenge. There's no advance and edges and problems to begin. It's just difficulty 3 stealth quick test.
Now, this is the 1930s, so bringing a gun in here is not what it would be these years of, oh my god, it's so much worse.
No.
I'm bringing my gun.
Sure.
I haven't. It's still safed, so the revolver cylinder isn't actually in line with the chamber and all of that. But I've got a gun. It's loaded. Okay. Dex is a little bit more creeped out than he'd like to say.
Would you like to start by rolling said stealth quick test?
No.
You have 2 dice.
Where's quick?
No. Quick test. That's a technical term. You're rolling stealth.
Great. R. 5.
You got it.
Okay. So I don't get an advance or a
You don't
token.
get a push or anything for it. No, it's just a.
Fine. I got wow.
3 was enough, so
I got a 9.
Enjoy. Basically, the night watchman has a very predictable pattern.
Yep.
He walks around at the perimeter, so if you wait until he's on opposite end until you enter, you have free reign of the place.
Cool. I'm wearing gloves, by the way.
Of course.
It's just like this. I'm not completely incompetent.
Okay, so what are you looking for? Just anything that stands out?
I'm going to probably do this in a couple of passes. So the first thing is I want to get a sense of the place, and I want to get a sense if there are any unpleasant surprises. So my first wander around is much more on the side of stealth than it is on the side of observation, and are there bunches of guys sitting here with guns because they're using this as a staging ground for mob hits, like the really obvious things that I don't want to be surprised by.
Okay, so most of the floor is dissected by high shelves, stuffed full of boxes of magazines and newspapers in these metal crates that kind of envelop them. So these are narrow passages you have to navigate, and for the most part, no, there's no one there. It looks like it's probably a base of operations during the day, and if they were doing a hit soon, maybe they would be here, but they're not.
Okay.
So there's the central area with all the shelves. There's a couple of rooms that are office-y in type, and in another corner there's a bunch of chairs and a couple of tables, which is obviously just a break space for the workers.
So big empty warehouse with a break space.
Yes. Well, the opposite of empty. It is full of shelves.
Sorry.
But no
big,
one there,
yes.
other than the one
Yes.
elderly watchman.
So the next question is offices.
Yep.
So offices and basements.
Basements, not that you can see. Offices, yeah, there's a couple. The doors are locked, but it's a kind of lock that you push and will open.
Right. So, single cavernous space filled with crates.
Correct.
There's no obvious gotchas or obvious traps.
No.
Dex has no idea about magic or wards, so that's going to be really unpleasant.
If that happens, yes.
I've looked for guys with guns. I've looked for basements.
Best that you can tell, and this is like...
Yep.
This is gumshoe. I'm not happy with you. It's fairly safe.
Okay. Then I shall start investigating offices.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's an office.
Yes.
There's a filing cabinet on the side. There's a desk. There's a couple of bottles in the drawers. What do you want?
So superficial. So we again outwards in. So superficial scan of names a superficial scan of documents is the first one.
Well, so you can the documents that are here are basically accounting books.
Yep.
None of them have names like Spiegel or Baron.
Sometimes they do.
Sometimes they do. Not this time.
Okay.
Do you spend some time actually reading?
So now I look for concealed objects. So I feel the undersides of drawers and the normal traditional concealed places, which I think is what would be either streetwise or
honestly evidence collection.
Evidence collection.
You do indeed find a place to stash a gun under a table.
Okay.
But there's no gun in it.
Interesting.
It's just like a tiny shelf there.
But there aren't any concealed documents or keys or anything.
Not that you can find.
So therefore, I've done my superficial search. There's lots of ledgers. I've done a detailed search for evidence. There's no evidence besides the ledgers.
Correct. None in the office, at least.
What time is it?
Let's say it's been half an hour.
Okay. I start looking through the ledgers. I will budget half an hour for this.
I was about to say that that's how long it will take. Yeah. So this would rely on your accounting skill. And yeah, basically they are on the up and up. Like there are a few spots in them where probably someone's skimming. But nothing that screams this is a heat.
There aren't any leaks.
Disguised as anything.
Right.
No. I mean, you know that a magazine probably has its fair share of underhanded dealings.
Sure.
But yeah, no leads here that you can find.
Okay. What other rooms are there?
Other than the office, basically none.
There's the break room.
There is it's not so much a room as just a corner of the warehouse that's being left open.
I will look over there for evidence. just to see what sort of people are here.
Okay. Well, so the one thing that kind of jumps at you, not in the literal sense.
Yeah, I was just. Yeah. It's these details are important.
In the wastebasket, there are several jars, like glass jars, empty, that reek of moonshine.
Is the geometry of the jar the same as the geometry of the jar on Helen's shelf?
Ish. You don't have the jar on you.
Yeah, no, but
the labels on them, so you can't really compare. You can't use like forensic evidence for this, but it may even be written by the same person. Okay.
So great. So moonshine on Helen's shelf, likely from the same person as providing moonshine here. Great. That's a thing.
There's a single car horn sound.
I get the fuck out of there.
Okay. Marshall looks up apologetically. I think I fell asleep and slammed my head on the window.
That's fine. We're still leaving.
Okay. Did you find anything?
Kind of. Not really. So, in short, there's a cop back at my place. And we're going to come here to have a discussion with the folks with Bud in the morning. However, there is something linking Helen to the folks here, and I tell them about the jar. So, there's something going on.
Okay, and now you want to talk to these people.
I've gotta.
Well, okay, look, I do have a job.
Yes.
but I suppose I can take a day off to, well, keep sitting in the car. It's a lot less exciting than I thought it would be. I suppose that's good.
If you want to have this be more exciting, let me know.
No, I'm good.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure Helen will thank you.
Who knows?
All right. So, we get a little bit of sleep.
Okay, next day.
Lots of coffee. We go back.
Actually, let me think for a moment. As you are walking up to your car with Marshall at your side, you see a couple of thugs approach you.
I make sure that my coat is not restraining my shoulders. Just stretch a little bit. Because it's pretty clear what's about to happen.
Dex Raymond?
Who wants to know?
Mr. Alexander would like a word.
Oh. All right.
Marshall looks at you, puzzled.
The gentleman who was bombed last night.
So what should I do?
Go to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, let me know how it turns out.
Yep. But you're not mixed up in this.
Yeah, he's relieved. He
go to
will
work.
go on his way. I take it you will get in the car and follow these gentlemen?
As far as I can tell, Alexander has nothing against me.
Okay,
sorry. Let's actually be somewhat more clear. Streetwise, does this feel like a good interview or a bad interview?
It could easily be bad interview. Like, there's two thugs here.
But so my reading of this is he told his thugs to get me in his normal fashion.
That could be that too.
Because
you're not being
one falls into habits.
Kicked over and thrown into the car.
I have not been given adverse instructions.
Correct.
Okay. I head over to his bombed out... Well, I follow the thugs.
Okay. So you... stopping in front of the casino, you will need to know that anything has happened here.
Goodness.
Yeah, the street has been cleaned up.
Seriously. The next morning, they've completely recovered from a bomb.
Well, it was a car that was bombed, not the casino.
Still.
So yeah, there was shrapnel everywhere.
He's been busy.
If you look at the spot itself, there's still scorch marks there.
Yep.
But yeah, you have a feeling come evening the place will be open as usual.
Fantastic. I awkwardly adjust my normal private dick clothes that are so not appropriate to this meeting and follow them in.
Well, so this place currently is closed.
Yep.
There's no one here. The lights are dimmed and it looks kind of creepy, this temple to opulence and excess, and there's just
this deserted,
no one washing.
desolate. Yes.
As you walk in, Whitey is pacing up and down his office. He looks up. Dex, I have questions to you.
I have questions and some notes to you, too. Let's start with the simple ones. Do you have any coffee?
He looks at you, somewhat annoyed, then waves his hand.
The reason why I mentioned this is I was up till the middle hours of the night looking at the folks' place who bombed you.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about. I'm under attack.
Yes.
A car has been bombed in my car park.
Yes.
One of my men has been kidnapped.
Yes.
And on the same day that happens, you show up and ask questions.
Yes.
You can see how I'm concerned.
So, I was at the Hillyers Hillier warehouse last night, and I followed the people who bombed you there. The warehouse is empty. There's normal magazine shadiness there. And I was planning this morning to go have a chat with one Bud. Of note,
well, of course,
the moonshine that was there is Helen also has a jar of.
He looks at you.
Yeah.
Very puzzled.
All this is corroborating evidence that there's a link. But there is a link there. And that is the folks who bombed you.
Well.
So, my morning plans were some eggs, some bacon, and then a very hostile conversation. 1 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, you're already having that.
Dex smiles.
Because it was Baron. Okay. And you had nothing to do with it, nothing.
I'm a dick. I can't afford to keep my office open.
Okay, right. Didn't think so.
and Dex is being completely open here. It's like.
And what with Phil spilling his guts, it does sound like that stupid girl has been trying to sell me out. He's mostly talking to himself at this point.
Dex thought about interrupting and then thought better. Okay, so this is going to be morning chat with Whitey. This is not Snow Crash after all. Okay, so
okay, he clearly has reached some conclusions in his head. He turns back to you. Do not get too friendly with Baron. I mean it.
I wasn't planning on it, sir.
Right. If you do manage to figure out what happened to Helen, you do let me know, because I would like to have a chat with her afterwards. Well, she's capable.
Of course, sir. Dex is not stupid enough to mistake this for a request. And he makes sure that his tone indicates that. The other thing is that he doesn't really feel the duty to care to Helen right now, what with that freaky stuff.
At the same time, he is meeting with Margaret.
This is what we would file under the A for awkward drawer.
Uh-huh.
It is a very big drawer.
Okay. Whitey Alexander will turn around, indicating that the meeting is over, and you can shuffle out awkwardly.
Quick sip of coffee, shuffle.
Yeah. So you have a feeling that if you want to go and have a friendly chat with Bud Baron, you probably want to do it sooner rather than later.
Well, let us have this morning go worse than it used to. Next episode.
Next episode. Okay.
Because that sounds like a cliffhanger. Oh my god. Okay, so actually, let me before we conclude, let me do a quick assess honesty.
Okay.
What I just got from YT felt right.
Yes. He is stressing out and kind of ranting a bit, and he doesn't consider you to be any kind of a threat to lie to you.
Which is, of course, what I was going for.
Yes.
But it's more a question. The critical question in my mind is what he said suggests nothing having to do with Helen's heebie-jeebies.
You're fairly certain at this point that no, he has no idea and no reason to have wanted to do.
The next question that I was wondering if I got a hint of is in terms of what Phil spilled. Did I get any intimations about what Phil was spilled?
No, the only thing you got is that one sentence.
Right.
But, I mean, you know that Phil was doing books for this casino, and you know that Helen was in cahoots one way or another with him, and then Helen went and saw the person trying to put pressure on him.
Right. The main question that I'm trying to get a sense of is that from his tone, Does it sound like Phil was responsible for any of this Yig stuff? Or is this just normal, naughty stuff?
It doesn't sound like Alexander knows anything
Okay.
about the Yigs.
So therefore, Phil did... I'm not too regretful for turning Phil in.
Right.
Not least because it means that I don't have to get my own hands dirty.
Sure.
Ethics is somewhere in England.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so with that, I say unto thee, Walate Sodales, and have a better day than Dex is having. Bye-bye.